Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over the Week 17 games, picking the winners, and an update to the power rankings. This on another episode of... So, first up, we got the Dallas Cowboys coming off a unfortunate win to the LA Chargers, which, along with the win of the Philadelphia Eagles this week, has officially eliminated them from playoff contention. Dallas' offense still looks really good, but their defense, sadly, is just that bad. And here they're playing the Washington Commanders, who are coming off their loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm going to pick Dallas to win this game. The Commanders are by no means a good team right now. They've benched Jaden Daniels for the rest of the year. They honestly don't have too much hope. And Dallas, I think, still wants to win games. So I think Dallas here will actually be the team to put more effort in. And as long as their offense continues to be good, I think they'll beat the Commanders. Next, we got the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit lost to the Steelers, and that was a bit of a surprise, while Minnesota actually won a game. Crazy that I know. Now, the Lions, they've had a rough stretch recently, losing to the Rams and to the Steelers. I think that changes here. I think they run into the Minnesota Vikings and try their hardest to win. I think they can do it. J.J. McCarthy isn't by no means a great quarterback. The only thing really holding that Minnesota team together is defense. And as long as the Lions can overcome that, they can get a win. Next, we got the Denver Broncos coming off an embarrassing loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, facing the Mahomes-less Kansas City Chiefs. And to no one's surprise, I'm picking the Broncos. Yes, they lost to the Jaguars, but that defense is really good. And the Chiefs are not going to be trotting out either Patrick Mahomes or their QB2 in Gardner Minshew, which means that Chiefs team is going to suffer. Next, we got the Houston Texans taking on the LA Chargers. The Texans coming off a win, as are the Chargers. The Chargers, I think, have the better offense of the two teams, but the Texans have one hell of a defense. And this one's a hard one to pick. I'm going to pick the Chargers. Omari Hampton's been looking pretty good. The receiving corps has been looking good. I think, even though Herbert does take a lot of sacks, he can get them to a win here, though it is a little concerning for them against the Texans. I just don't have that much faith in that Texans offense, so I'm going with the Chargers. Next, you got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Green Bay Packers. The Ravens, they lost a tragic game to the New England Patriots where they had a lead and then it all fell apart. And the Packers, they lost to the Bears. Jordan Love got hurt. They had to start Malik Willis at quarterback. It was a disaster. And honestly, here it's kind of hard to pick because Lamar Jackson's hurt, as is Jordan Love. Their statuses for this upcoming week a little in doubt. Derrick Henry got benched for the Ravens. Josh Jacobs is dealing with injury. These are two banged up teams. And I'm going to pick the Packers because they're at home, but that is by no means a safe bet with how these two teams are operating right now. Next, we got the Seattle Seahawks coming off a win against the LA Rams in overtime, taking on the Carolina Panthers, who are coming off their own win against Tampa Bay. Carolina, they have been looking good these past 2 weeks. They've started to put stuff together properly. They're playing well. They're going up against Seattle, who is on a bit of a tear right now, beating the Colts, then beating my Rams. And I'm going to pick the Panthers. I'm calling an upset. The Panthers at home beat the Rams. They have the ability to beat these good teams. This Panthers team is a great underdog, and I think they can do it. They've got a good run game. That defense is a little underrated. So I think the Panthers, if they give it their best shot, can beat Seattle and win that game. Next, we got the Arizona Cardinals coming off yet another loss, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who won their fourth game of the season against Miami Dolphins. Here I'm going Cincinnati. Arizona, they've looked bad all season. They can keep games close, but they can't win. That is who they are this year. Cincinnati, on the other hand, they just beat up on the poor Dolphins, but it's mostly also a bit of a trash fire there. They live or die with Joe Burrow, and if Joe Burrow's playing good, they win. If he isn't, they lose. And I think that continues here, but I think the Cardinals' defense is not good enough to get rid of Joe Burrow, so I'm going to make the Bengals win. Next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off their win over the Lions, taking on the Cleveland Browns, who just lost to the Buffalo Bills. Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders got banged up in that game. You lost your number one running back. It's not looking good against Steelers here. The Steelers, of course, have their own drama. DK Metcalf decided that he had to punch a fan. And unfortunately for DK, the NFL does not look kindly upon players reaching up, grabbing fans, and then punching them. So he's suspended for 2 games, which means the Steelers are going in to play the Browns with no wide receivers of note. Oh boy, this could be fun. I'm going to pick the Steelers to win because overall they're the more talented team, but against a team like the Browns with no wide receivers, relying on tight ends and running backs, that's a risky proposition. But I think they can still win. Next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Phillip Rivers, he's looked great. Even though in this last week he lost to the San Francisco 49ers, he led that team and almost had it. Meanwhile, the Jacksonville Jaguars upset the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, the Denver Broncos, and put themselves firmly in the chase for the number 1 seed. Jacksonville. I'm going to say it. I have doubts that you can win this game, but I'm still going to pick you. Phillip Rivers and the Colts, I think the more they play together, the better they get. I think we saw that this past week. His first week back, he didn't really do the best. He was serviceable. Second week back, oh boy, he was leading drives and commanding presence on the field. However, I think the Jacksonville defense is good enough to get a win against the Phillip Rivers Colts. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, they just lost to the Bengals. Now, there's an asterisk there. They benched Tua. They were sort of seeing what they had in their backup quarterback, but it wasn't necessarily them trying to win kind of game. And I think you saw that in the score against the Bengals. They did good, but not good enough. And honestly, they probably should have been able to do better against that bad Bengals defense, but it is what it is. And they will be playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are in free fall right now. They've lost several games in a row. It's not looking good for Tampa. The question here is, can Tampa turn it around? I think they can. I think they win this game. I've been wrong a few times on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the past few weeks because I have faith in them. I have faith in Baker. I have faith in that offense. The defense is banged up, but I have faith that they'll eventually pull it together. Next, we got the New England Patriots, who clinched the playoffs by beating Baltimore, taking on the New York Jets. And I think the Patriots win. I don't really think I need to describe why the Jets will not be beating the Patriots here. So, moving right along. Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints versus the Tennessee Titans. The Titans got a win against a Chiefs team lacking Mahomes. They hurt Gardner Minshew. There was not much to like about that game from the Chiefs side of things, and the Titans took advantage of it and gained their 3rd win on the season. Meanwhile, New Orleans beat the Jets. Good job, New Orleans. You beat one of the worst teams in the league. I think the Saints win this game. Tyler Shuck, he's proven he can be a decent starter. I think it comes into effect here. Tennessee's a terrible team. And the Saints, while also terrible, I think they're better than the Titans right now. Next, we got the New York Giants versus the Las Vegas Raiders in the biggest tank bowl of the season, fighting for the number 1 draft pick. Giants, you look terrible. I was impressed by how bad your offense was. Jackson Dart looked putrid. on the field, and I don't really know why. Thankfully, Giants, you're taking on the Vegas Raiders, who have been generationally bad this year. So, who wants to lose this game more? Well, I think the Giants will win. Why? Because the Raiders' defense is bad. The Raiders' offense is bad. Next, we got one of the better games this week between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles coming off their win over the Washington Commanders, and the Bills coming off their win over the Cleveland Browns. This could be a great game. Back during the offseason, this was supposed to be a potential Super Bowl preview between the Bills and Eagles. I think the Bills' offense definitely has a huge advantage over Philly here. Josh Allen alone can produce more than that entire Eagles offense. James Cook has come into his own, looks really great. He will test the Eagles defense, which against good running backs is actually really bad. And the weirdly assembled cast of Buffalo receivers should probably give the Eagles fits because they have no true number one, which when you have no true number one, the Eagles can't figure out who to cover if you don't have a true number one. So that Eagles defense might be having fits this week. And on the other side of the ball, that Eagles offense, they've been getting some pretty easy opponents these past few weeks, so they actually started looking good. Funny what happens when you play teams that collectively are just equal to a dumpster fire. Well, can they continue against the Bills? Well, the Bills haven't been the best on defense this year, but I think they will do just enough to get their offense the opportunities to win this game, and Josh Allen comes away with the win. Next, we got another great game between the Chicago Bears and the San Francisco 49ers. The Bears, they've been looking pretty good. They beat the Packers. They hurt Jordan Love. They have been doing everything they wanted to do these past few weeks. The Niners beat the Indianapolis Colts, and they are now challenging for the NFC number one seed. The Bears obviously also in that race. So, who wins this game? Well, I'm going with the Bears. Why? They have been exciting. They have been fun. They've won games in ways that only make sense in the year 2025. They are the Bears that can win. The Niners, they've been playing great with a very injured roster, but I think the Bears can take advantage of it. The Bears have a great run game. They have a two-headed monster at running back with Monangai and DeAndre Swift. They have a great passing game this year. Crazy to say, I know. And they've got a defense that loves getting turnovers. This team could easily be a dark horse favorite to win the Super Bowl just because of how crazy and random they are. You don't know what you're getting. You don't know what team you're playing, really, because they will just win in the stupidest ways possible, but it'll work. So I got to pick them. And to end the week, we got the LA Rams taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Rams lost an embarrassing overtime match against the Seattle Seahawks. And the Falcons, well, they won this week. So that Rams draft pick, not as low as it once was. Now, the Falcons. They've got a great offense when everything's working. They've got Bijan Robinson. They've got Kyle Pitts. They've got Drake London. Their defense isn't half bad. The Rams, on the other hand, they've been looking great these past few weeks on offense. Last week was a concern on defense, but I think they can pull it back together this week against a team that isn't necessarily of the same quality as the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm picking the Rams to win. And with that being said, guys, please like, share, subscribe down below, comment what you think, and I'll see you next time.